morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is J.R. Moore coming to you live from deep in the mountains of the Missouri Ozarks on Tuesday, the 21st day of November, year of our Lord 2017. Welcome to the John Moore Show. Okay, prepper tip of the day. It is wintertime, not officially by the calendar, but in many parts of the country, I say it's wintertime, late fall. So your prepper tip of the day is to make sure you clean and treat your winter foot gear. Assuming your winter foot gear is leather and as opposed to rubber or some kind of fabric, you're going to want to use Snow Seal. There's other preparations that are good. I've been using Snow Seal for basically 40 plus years. It's S-N-O. There's no W. S-N-O Seal. Snow Seal. Make sure the boots are clean, that you've got all the mud away from the stitching, especially. You don't want to seal in mud, and they're thoroughly dried out. You don't want to force dry the boots. They need to be dried at moderate temperatures, not too close to a hot furnace or a hot stove of some kind. That's bad for the leather also. So you take your clean, dry boots, and they should be warm and not cold, but just room temperature at least. And Snow Seal needs to be warmed up to where it's not quite liquid. And I like to use a toothbrush to work it down good into the welt of the boot. That's where the sole is sewn on to the top of the boot. And all the stitching, I work it in real good with an old toothbrush. And then, of course, the Snow Seal goes all over the leather itself. Be sure to take out the boot laces, by the way. They need to be cleaned also, and you really can't properly clean and treat the boots with the shoelaces in, the boot laces in. Well, you simply can't get at everything. And that's your prepper tip of the day. We will not have a live broadcast here at Public Broadcasting either Thursday or Friday. So I'm going to announce my Black Friday sale this morning. Begins Thursday. The Black Friday sale begins Thursday for energy cleaners and mattress pads, and goes until midnight Monday the 27th. And this is the Black Friday sale beginning Wednesday. $25 off energy cleaners, 10% off mattress pads. If you're mailing a check, be sure it's postmarked before midnight the 27th. And that's going to be the Black Friday sale on energy cleaners and mattress pads. We have open lines here this first hour at 800-592-95, 800-313-9443. Takes a moment to talk about an article. I wrote a commentary and had it posted yesterday. It looks like we do have a live show Friday. I apologize. No live show Thursday. Got a live show Friday. Scroll down the left-hand side of my website, just below the domes, I think it is. Let's see. No, there's a couple of articles below the domes there. And it says, ICE agent committing suicide. Here's what I wrote. I write this note in November 2017. The article concerns an event, ICE agent committing suicide, that took place in May of 2016, and the note he left behind. Reading this article again, I'm reminded why this article had such an impact on me. My personal connection is about a paragraph in this article. That paragraph being the one that mentions murdering all U.S. penitentiary prisoners. Note I say murder because execution denotes a court-ordered death following a conviction, and all appeals being exhausted. In the late 1990s, a friend of mine was convicted in a matter involving the Internal Revenue Service. He received a 1-year sentence to be served at the U.S. Penitentiary at Marion, Illinois. I visited him on a number of occasions. This facility has 2 parts. The first part, minimum security, also known as a camp. Now, this side has no walls or fence. If a prisoner wants to escape, all he needs to do is walk away. 2, the medium security side. This is the real prison with all the modern ways of keeping a man from escaping one could ever dream of. At that time, the celebrity prisoner on the medium security side was Mr. John Gotti. The inmates of the campsite all had various jobs. During one of my visits, my friend told me the following. John, they now have me working on the maximum security side. I replied, really? He said, I replied, really? What do they have you doing? He replied, they have me in the ventilation ductwork running 1/4-inch copper tubing with a main line running through all the ductwork and an individual line branching off at each cell, terminating just before the vent to each cell. He and I then discussed why this was being done. Neither he nor I could reach any conclusion other than the purpose being to murder all the prisoners. I have a private, reliable source stating that the Missouri prison system has also installed the same equipment in their prisons. There's no leap in logic to suspect that similar equipment is in most of the other 49 states' prison systems. Now, back to the ICE article. I urge everyone to read this article, then read it again. Be advised, these plans have been in motion for decades, spanning both Republican and Democratic administrations. In my heart, I know that one man, that being Donald Trump, probably will not be able to stop these decades-old plans. I would dearly like to believe that he could. My best hope is that he may slow down these matters, giving all of us a bit more time for both a normal life and to prepare for what's inevitable. That's followed by the article itself. Now, the source of this article doesn't have the best reputation for good journalism on one hand. On the other, I know its source being something called Superstation 95. It's not a radio station. It's a website. And the information contained here does give some citations to real documents that really do exist, such as executive orders, Homeland Security order, and so forth. That's why I think this is so important, because of the veracity of the citations, knowing the fact that that they are real executive orders, that they have attempted to, and they have in fact not attempted, but they've recruited pastors and priests to be part of this, and so forth. So I believe I'm urging everybody, I should say, to read this article, read my commentary, incorporate this knowledge into your own base of knowledge, and make whatever plans you deem appropriate as you build your base of knowledge. Well, we got the holidays coming up here, and most people will be enjoying a Thanksgiving dinner with friends and loved ones. I know that locally here we had one of the local churches, actually several churches participated in putting together a meal for folks that were going to be alone this coming Thursday, day after tomorrow. A nice Thanksgiving meal for them at one of the local churches. I'll be enjoying Thanksgiving meals with my family Thursday and Friday, and I hope you will be also. It's a wonderful time of year. For most of us, it's a time for many people who are shut-ins or live alone, it can be a bad time. The people who study these matters say that depression runs its highest during the holiday season, which doesn't surprise me. A friend of mine, he's a avowed atheist, and he takes his family downtown St. Louis and helps serve meals to homeless men and women who would not have a good meal otherwise. A time to reflect. A lot of people pause for reflection, especially as we get closer to the first of the year, that all the the media outlets talk about people's New Year's resolutions. They like to summarize the celebrities who died over the past year, make all those announcements. It's also, and something I should mention, that week between Christmas and New Year's. I've mentioned this before, but it's worth mentioning again. Those several days, that week or so, is the state of lowest preparedness for all federal, state, local agencies, military, and so forth. Granted, all these posts are manned, local, state, federal, police, and military on one hand, but who are they manned by? Typically, they're manned by the youngest, least experienced men and women who don't have enough seniority to get that time off, because most of the senior men and women with the most experience don't go to work between Christmas and New Year's. So it's a and this is no secret, of course. Anybody who knows the United States and our culture, they know that one of the best times to stage an attack on the United States of America is that week between Christmas and New Year's, because of the low state of readiness that we have in this country. Thus far, it hasn't happened. On one hand, on the other, I believe people should be aware of this and take their own personal precautions to deal with the possibility of that happening. What I call prudent preparations. That'd be pretty smart, wouldn't it? We're having a mild late fall here in south central Missouri, running low 30s in the evening and very pleasant 55, 60 degrees in the daytime. Sunday morning was kind of strange. Woke up, it was 70 degrees, which at 6 a.m., 70 degrees in the third week of November is a bit strange, to say the least, because there's a lot of days in July and August where it's not 70 degrees first thing in the morning. So it was strange, and then before noon, the temperature dropped about 20 degrees. A very unusual day. Cold front coming through here. Preparedness is my mantra. It has been for decades. It has been for decades. Never thought much about it before my daughter was born. Being a healthy young male with combat experience in Vietnam and Special Forces. That all changed the day my daughter was born, and I held out my little finger for her right hand to grab, and she did grab it. I guess it's probably some kind of automatic response that if something falls into your little hand when you're 10 minutes old, that you grasp it. It sent an electric shock through me. I mean, literally, it was an amazing experience to have this precious human being that was completely helpless, completely dependent on her parents for her very survival, to grasp my finger at that moment, just minutes after she was born. And that was the moment when I decided that this child was going to be safe and secure no matter what, and I was going to make sure of it. Now that feeling has transferred to my grandchildren. I still feel the same way about my daughter, but she's a healthy adult female and pretty self-sufficient. Grandchildren, well, the one now is a college athlete, just turned 21. He doesn't need Grandpa to protect him anymore. The twins, as we call them, the boy and the girl, I believe they're 12. I hope I'm not wrong there. They're still pretty young and still dependent on adults for their safety and protection. But that's the responsibility I feel towards my family. And I know most of you feel the same way towards your family. I get calls. I do private consultations, by the way. And I many of the consultation clients I have, they express their anguish over adult children that don't want to hear about being prepared, parents that don't want to hear about being prepared, spouses that don't want to hear about being prepared. When I tell these people, when it comes to a spouse, by the way, or their adult children, you go ahead and prepare the place where they will have a safe haven. And when a time comes, people who don't want to hear about it now, they will expect you to take care of them, especially the spouse. Usually the conflict between spouses involves family resources, two things, time and money. They look at spending time and money as a waste of family resources that could be better spent on other things. It's a tough place to be. It is. It happens frequently. I've never noticed a particular breakdown of male or female. It seems to be more or less evenly split, male and female, as to which spouse wants to prepare and which spouse thinks it's a waste of time and money. Certainly, truly a blessing when both spouses are on board. That certainly eliminates some very complicated decision-making, things to deal with. So, do what you got to do. That's what it comes down to. Even if the spouse is not on board with you, do what you got to do. That spouse who doesn't want to hear about it, thinks it's a waste of time and money, thinks you're a little bit loopy crazy. When the time comes, that same spouse is going to expect you to be there for them with all you've done ready to go. They will. You can count on it. Here's our break. We hope to have Sky Huddleston with us for a few minutes to talk about the rocket heater after the break. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. It's taken 3 years before I could offer the inter-shelter domes for sale. During those 3 years, several different governments and militaries were taking all their production. The inter-shelter dome homes may be just what you've been looking for to provide affordable, energy-efficient, permanent, and attractive housing. These dome homes are prefabricated units that can be assembled in a few hours by 2 men with a ladder and simple hand tools. Check out the photos of these dome homes built in the Arctic, on tropical beaches, in suburban areas, and in forests. All the details, many photographs, and the pricing of the dome homes are listed on the left hand. I'm here. I didn't hear any music. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. My spot was running and it just stopped. I didn't hear any music, so here we are. All right. Well, my friend Sky Huddleston, he manufactures the rocket heater. This is cutting-edge technology. Human beings have been heating with wood for, well, we don't know how long, many thousands of years. But modern technology. Yeah, pretty much, Sky. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, the rocket stove. There on the right side of my home page, the rocket stove, and there's a photograph of me standing next to a rocket stove, and right there at your little factory you've got there in Sullivan, Missouri, the rocket stove with the pellet hopper attached to it.
Yep.
So last week when we talked, Sky, you were fabricating a new batch of rocket heaters. Where does that stand right now?
Oh, we got half of them done.
All right.
We're getting ready to finish up the other half, so we have 5 of them painted and ready to go.
Okay. So if a person places an order, you got rocket heaters in stock and ready for immediate shipment. Is that accurate?
That's absolutely true.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a very cost-effective way to heat your home using either sticks or wood pellets. Normal firewood won't fit in a rocket heater. The firebox is about as big as 6 packs of cigarettes, and that's a good thing because scrap wood that normally would get thrown away or burned in the yard can be used to heat your home, or of course the wood pellets, which come in is it 40-pound bags?
Yes.
All right. So you can use either one and heat your home, be very nice and warm and cozy, and do so in a very cost-effective manner. So let's see here. The rocket heater is $1,800, which includes shipping, and that includes the pellet hopper also, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You get everything. You get the pellet hopper, you get the outside air adapter, you get the heater, and it's all shipped to your door via a lift gate and a big truck, and that's that. One thing I'll say about the rocket heater, no other wood stove can do this just about. You can burn softwoods in it and agricultural waste without creosote issue because it burns so clean and thoroughly and efficiently. So your options really open up. And then, like you said, you could burn sagebrush or twigs or sticks or waste. And these are the things that you'll never have to compete with other people for. Everyone's, if ever there's a major power outage, everyone's going to be competing for the logs, and
right.
Rapid deforestation may occur, but you're never going to compete for fuel with this.
Right, because literally, and when I say sticks and twigs, it's not a flippant statement. It's an accurate statement. Plus, got a nice big flat top there where you can heat some water up or cook some soup or heat up some chili right there on top of the heater, right?
Oh, yeah, it makes for an excellent alternative cooking source. I actually had a customer that he hooked it up outside and melted lead with it and casted bullets using the heat from it.
Right. Well, I doubt we'd have very many people do that because most of these are going to be indoor installations, and I don't believe you want to be melting lead indoors.
Yeah, I would recommend against that. I'm just emphasis on heat output.
Right. Well, the heat output is phenomenal. And plus, with a pellet hopper, you can fill up the pellet hopper, go to bed, and wake up and still have a nice, warm, cozy home there because you can get a 10-hour burn with the pellet hopper filled up with wood pellets, right, Scott? Right, Sky?
That's right. Now, speaking of the pellet hopper, and we've had other customers experiment and report success to us in burning wood chips. And relatively soon, I'd like to fire up my wood chipper and see if that works. Because if you could just throw your sagebrush and your yard waste into a wood chipper, and then put that in the pellet hopper, and it'll run for 12 hours, you have the penultimate heating system.
Well, I'd make sure the wood chips are very dry because if they were moist, they would clump together and not feed properly, I would think. So they need to be sure that the wood chips are just absolutely dry, so they would feed through there properly.
The best way to ensure the wood chips are dry is to put dry sticks in the chipper.
Okay. Well, that's certainly the best way. But many times I see these, in fact, there's communities that have free wood chips for their citizens that want to pick them up and use them for mulch. But they're usually stored outside where they would get rained on. So the wood chips need to be dry. Well, Sky, it's good to know that you've got the rocket heaters in stock and ready for immediate shipment. And they're on my website here, ladies and gentlemen, ready for you to make your purchase, get the rocket heater installed. It's a simple installation. People that have handyman skills can get them installed themselves, or do have a professional to make sure it's done properly and safely, right, Sky? Yeah,
exactly. It installs like any other wood stove, so you can just go to the hardware store and get the parts you need.
Absolutely. And the wood pellets are relatively inexpensive, and the more you buy, if you get them a pallet at a time, they get a little bit cheaper, don't they?
Sometimes, yeah, typically. It's considerably cheaper than propane. Fuel pellets beat every other fuel, hands down, in terms of cost per BTU, except natural gas. Right.
Natural gas being a waste product that they managed to figure out a way to sell that and make money on about a century ago, or actually a little more than a century ago. Well, that's great, Sky. We appreciate the update, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Thanks for having me
on. Okay. Here's our bottom of the hour break. We'll have open lines after the break at 800-313-9443.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We're continuing our Energy Cleaner promotion, which began August of 2016. In this promotion, you get to buy an Energy Cleaner, $70 off retail, and a mattress pad, 10% off retail. $200 of the purchase price of the Energy Cleaner goes to Republic Broadcasting. This is a great way to help get energy cleaners out to people who need them and have some financial issues to deal with. And, of course, a great way to support Republic Broadcasting. Here's what you do. Send in a postcard. My address is John Moore, P.O. Box 201, Davidsville, Missouri. We pick a postcard every 2 weeks. If your postcard is drawn, you get the chance to buy the Energy Cleaner, $70 off retail, and 10% off the mattress pads. Put your name and your address, your telephone number, and your email address on the postcard, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you. All right, we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 21st of November. Quick reminder on my website, on the right-hand side, field training exercise, USS Liberty, December 31st, 2018. People have been bugging me for years. John, when's it going to happen? It could be any number of things, right? Financial collapse, World War III, violent earth changes. Well, I got a response, and the response is right there. Field training exercise, USS Liberty, December 31st, 2018. You pick your own scenario, or several if you like. There's 5 listed there. You can even come up with 6 or 7 if you want. And then you start preparing. Basically, 13 months until December 31st, 2018. So there you go. Also, my website are Energy Cleaners, a marvelous healing device. I use mine every night. I wake up in the morning pain-free, ready to go get them. You can also. My Black Friday sale begins Thursday and goes through midnight Monday. It's Monday the 27th, $25 off energy cleaners, 10% off mattress pads. Here's the way this works. I can't change my automated system for a couple of days. It's just too much of a administrative burden. It's not going to happen. So when you place your order at my website using PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, for your energy cleaner, your mattress pad, you'll pay full price when you make your order. Then I manually refund the Black Friday sale difference. So that's the way this works. So the Black Friday sale begins Thursday, like I said, goes till midnight Monday. If you're mailing a check, be sure it's postmarked before Tuesday, the 28th, and you can get your energy cleaner $25 off, and mattress pads 10% off. We got a caller on hold here. That would be Rick in Missouri. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning. Good morning, John. For you, I'm here at Adelaide and Highway 70, the near north side, where Newt Gingrich said on Fox News about a month ago, this is worse than any place in the Mideast, and I think that's probably right.
Newt Gingrich said that a month ago?
On Fox. He said
really?
There is no place, yeah, he said there is no place in the Mideast worse than St. Louis's near north side. I almost fell out of the chair. I was like, "Wow, that's quite."
I wonder if has he been there?
I don't know why you would. I mean,
No. I said has Newt Gingrich been to North St. Louis? Do you know?
No, that's what I'm saying. Why in the world would you? I mean, I'm sure he was I'm sure he had plenty of security if he did. I can't imagine why he would be there. You know, that's, I don't know what his business would be.
Well, I don't know.
I
don't know, but go ahead. You got some more.
I got these cloistered nuns right here that I am supposed to stop and see from time to time. But what I actually wanted to say was I wanted to make a quick comment about the energy cleaner, something that wasn't really addressed, and I've got not energy cleaner. I'm sorry, the rocket stove. What you can look at the pictures now. I saw the Huddleston's ad in Mother Earth News the other day, and of course it looks just about like the picture on your website. But what is I own a rocket stove, and I want everybody to be comfortable with the fact that this is not some caveman-looking device. This is a sleek, clean, well-engineered, and perfectly manufactured piece of equipment. I mean, I've always been a huge fan of workmanship, and I love looking at any kind of machinery, really, and I like to look at the quality of the welds and all that. These guys, their work just knocks me out. I look at this stuff, and their welds look like they were done with a butter knife. I mean, they are so beautiful and clean, and the thing is so well designed. They got boilerplate down by the firebox. This thing would probably last a lifetime. And
it's heavy steel. It's heavy steel, right?
Oh yeah, and it's basically got a relatively little footprint. It's not one of these things that it's going to greet you at the front door. I mean, it's probably 4 feet high, maybe 4.5, but it probably stands in 4 square feet or something along those lines.
That's about right. Yeah, about 4 square feet. Yeah. That's about right.
Yeah, but I want people to realize or to be comfortable with the fact that this is actually, I mean, depending on your idea of beauty, this is actually a very beautiful piece of equipment. So I just wanted to, that didn't come up, and you can't see it in the pictures, but I think in all fairness, I think somebody should bring that up. So
all right. Okay.
All right. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to all you guys out there.
Rick, thank you. We appreciate the call, sir. All right. Okay, the call number is 800-313-9443. Wintertime. The majority of us live lives where being outdoors in wintertime is something we don't do a whole lot for work or recreation. Now, where I am here is the same distance from the North Pole as Korea is. And in fact, most Army forts have a nickname. The nickname for Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, which is about a little over an hour drive from me, is Little Korea. And the climate closely duplicates the climate of Korea. Maybe not so much now as in the past as far as winter. But the extreme cold weather can put you down pretty quick in terms of causing hypothermia and death. You need to take it seriously. I'm not a big fan of cold weather. I don't particularly enjoy it or like it, but I'll deal with it. In the Army, we had training where I had to be outdoors 24 hours a day for as long as 3 days when we had high temperatures of 10 above and low temperatures of 10 below. That was an experience where everything that we used during those days we carried on our backs. There was no tent or shelter or anything like that other than what we could fabricate and carry on our back. And being in Special Forces, we didn't carry tents. We carried ponchos and sleeping bags, and that was it. My typical shelter in the bush is 2 ponchos, one for overhead cover and the other for a ground cloth. And that's it. It works pretty good for me. But you need to pay attention to a lot of things if you're going to be outdoors for more than a few minutes in extreme cold weather. Let's start with the feet. I like insulated leather boots. That's my preference. That's what I like. If I know I'm going to have my feet in water, I'm going to want rubber insulated boots. I try to make sure that doesn't happen. Good quality. Unfortunately, some of what used to be 35, 40 years ago, the quality boots are now made in China, and they don't have anywhere near the quality they did 40 years ago. You're not going to get, in my opinion, good quality winter footgear from Walmart. I don't believe it's going to happen. If you do get winter footgear from Walmart, it may last one season, maybe, if you're not too hard on it. Red Wing is a good brand. There's others. And just make sure it's a good brand. You can usually tell by the price, the quality of the footgear. And of course, one of my favorites to go with the footgear is merino wool socks. Many people, maybe most, don't like wool because it's itchy and scratchy. That's where merino wool socks stand head and shoulders above most other wool, because the fibers are much longer. And for most people, most of the time, there could be exceptions, they don't find it to be itchy or scratchy. I know I don't. My merino wool socks, I've got some that several packages never been opened, and several I've had cycling through the laundry for more than 10 years, and they're still very serviceable. Even the inexpensive ones that I get from Sportsman's Guide will last and last and last. When it comes to long underwear, you don't want cotton. Among men and women who spend a lot of time outdoors, cotton is known as, quote-unquote, the fabric of death. Don't buy cotton long underwear. Simply don't do it. There is merino wool underwear. There's other high-tech fabrics out there now that are very nice, but don't get cotton. Seriously. You'll regret it. Your outerwear, you want something that's going to keep the heat in, repel water. It's going to be different things for different people. If you're going to be doing work outdoors, don't think you can go to REI. I'm an REI member. They have great equipment for casual sporting purposes. You want to go shopping where the ranchers and farmers and construction workers go to get their outdoor clothing. That's where you want to go for your trousers, jackets, hats, gloves. What's sold at REI is high quality recreational clothing and boots and hats and gloves meant for casual recreational use. It's not meant for doing work around a ranch or a farm or construction work. It simply isn't, and it won't hold up. The only possible exception might be headgear. Because headgear typically doesn't take any punishment. But otherwise, I wouldn't get anything from a sporting goods company when it comes to footgear, trousers, jackets, gloves, and so forth. It all needs to be maintained. Now, let's talk about Gore-Tex a little bit. Gore-Tex is a wonderful fabric. In a long-term survival preparedness environment, however, you may find that when a Gore-Tex needs to be repaired, unless you've got special equipment to repair it, it can't be properly repaired. That's the downside of Gore-Tex, as wonderful as it is. And it is wonderful. It's a great fabric. It lets the moisture from your body out, keeps the rain from getting in. How good is that? And all this equipment needs to be maintained. The zippers, buttons, any little rips and tears need to be repaired before they become a big rip or a big tear. Shoelaces and boot laces need to be, make sure that they're not getting worn out and frayed. I like to use parachute cord for boot laces, by the way. I've been doing that for 40 years, and it works pretty good. Have to use a surgeon's knot instead of a regular bow knot, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Make sure that footgear is in good repair. whenever you get back from being out in the bush, clean it properly and check for any damage and make sure that damage is repaired, whether it's to the sole or to the upper, whatever it is. I like to use dye on my boots to put the dye in where the scratches are. If you're out being active, there's going to be scratches from rocks and so forth. And then treat it with a snow seal and do a finish coat of shoe polish, boot polish on the boots. You do that, your boots will last for decades. Seriously, they will. They will last for decades. Gloves? Well, the gloves come and the gloves go. I generally get leather work gloves, the inexpensive ones. They're leather and canvas. Buy them by a 6-pack. And you need to protect your hands. Seriously, you need to protect your hands. And leather or leather canvas work gloves will do so. And I usually get the inexpensive ones most of the time. And if they get lost or damaged, it's no big deal. When you buy them in a 6-pack from Harbor Freight, for example, I regard work gloves as an expendable item as opposed to dress gloves. Now, I have very nice leather dress gloves that I will use for years and years, but the work gloves, that's an expendable item. Make sure you're properly hydrated. Consuming alcohol will actually make you colder. You may get a slightly warm feeling initially, but long term, alcohol actually makes you colder outdoors. It may seem counterintuitive, but that's the way it works. You're going to burn a lot of calories. You're doing any work or even recreation outdoors in the wintertime, you will be burning a lot of calories. So it's very important that you have plenty of calories that you're consuming, as well as staying properly hydrated and drink plenty of water. I like to put a 1/4 teaspoon of Himalayan sea salts per quart in my drinking water. It helps balance your electrolytes. The cost is insignificant. A pound of sea salt consumed at 1/4 teaspoon at a time will last a really long time. But I do find that staying hydrated day and night is just good in general. It's easy to ignore when you're outdoors in the cold weather. You don't think about it as much as you do in the hot weather. Once you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated, so it's important to consume your water frequently enough that you don't get that thirsty feeling. Because at that point, like I said a moment ago, you're already dehydrated, whether it's summer or winter. It doesn't matter. Eye protection, especially if there's snow. Being snowblind is no fun thing, no pleasant thing to deal with. I recall seeing one of the films where these men escaped a Russian prisoner camp, and they made snow goggles out of strips of bark where there was a tiny little slit for them to look through to cut down the light coming through to their eyes. I believe the American Indians have done the same thing, and Eskimos have made similar devices so they wouldn't go snowblind, and dealing with the brilliance of the sun reflecting off the snow. And it can be dazzling. Here's a break. Call numbers 800-313-9443. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 21st of November. I'm about to tell you what, in my opinion, is the finest pair of boots a human being could put on their feet when it comes to being outdoors in the wintertime, in the summertime, doing vigorous activities, walking patrol, whatever it might be. Made by Danner, D-A-N-N-E-R. Everything Danner makes is excellent on one hand. On the other, my favorite Danner boot is their Fort Lewis. Fort Lewis. Also, the nickname is Go Devil Boots. First time I put my pair on my feet were saying, thank you, thank you. It was an amazing experience just to put them on before I even walked around. I've got the insulated kind, and I love my Danner Fort Lewis boots. And if you get yourself a pair and you get the proper size and some merino wool socks to go with them, I have a high level of confidence that you'll feel the same way. I've had mine, I guess, let's see, about 14, 15 years now. And they're in perfect condition, ready for immediate use. Great boots. Okay. There's no substitute for dealing with cold weather. No substitute for being outdoors and doing it. Packing up a backpack for a 3-day jaunt into the woods when it's going to be around zero, maybe below zero. Knowing that once you walk into those woods, everything that you need better be with you. Food, water, shelter, and so forth. Maybe a communications device or devices, plural, whatever weapons you may bring with you. All those things. It's a lot of thought goes into being able to do that and being more or less comfortable. Any fool can go out in the woods and be miserable. That takes no talent at all. Trust me, it takes no talent, no knowledge, no expertise to go out in the woods and be uncomfortable. But to go out into the bush when it's zero and below for several days at a time and be more or less comfortable, you're not going to be completely comfortable, obviously, but not to where it feels like a hardship, not to where it feels like you can't wait for it to end. That takes some planning. It does. And the right equipment for you and your particular mission that you're on. You should be ready to customize your equipment for any given assignment that you get, any given mission that you get, whether it's a recreational matter that you're dealing with or training or a real world situation. So you got to have the right equipment and be sure and test it first. The first time you try out a piece of equipment should not be when you're depending on it to perform the way you expect it to perform. That may end up being very disappointing. We got a top of the hour break coming up here momentarily. Leon Green should be with us. And we have our new feature on Tuesdays, which will be our essential oil of the week. And we'll talk to Leon about that. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 21st day of November. Our preparative tip of the day. I want to encourage all of you to be sure you clean your winter foot gear and properly treat them with a good product. I like to use Snow Seal. That's S-N-O, there's no W, Snow Seal. There's others products that are excellent also. Make sure that they're clean and properly repaired and treated with Snow Seal and ready to go. That's your prepper tip of the day. All right, we do have patiently waiting in the green room my friend Leon Green. Leon is a gentleman who's taken the time, made the effort to become a quest for knowledge when it comes to essential oils, especially doTERRA essential oils. Beginning last week, we now have a essential oil of the week, and we'll talk about what that oil is momentarily, and probably talk about many other things. Good morning, Leon.
Good morning, John. How you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing outstanding. How about yourself, sir?
Very good. And talking about the cold, I agree with you in that regard. There's a difference when I go skiing in the Alps or in the Rockies than when you're out sitting in a bush. And you lose a lot of camo ability when you, instead of being bright and shiny, as compared to being subdued and subtle.
Right. Well, I would wear ski underwear when I was in Special Forces because it was, at the time, we're talking, the late 1970s, it was the best, warmest underwear you could get that was also the lightest and very flexible. So that was a good thing to do at the time. For underwear, I would not wear ski outer garments in a Special Forces operation. It just wouldn't hold up to the things that they're demanding when we were doing rock climbing and rappelling and crawling around the ground, on rocks and the dirt. You wouldn't want to do that with ski outer garments, would you, Leon?
Absolutely not. You're right. And yes, I just picked up some of the Polar Tech, the new Patagonia. It looks like they call it the waffle pattern. The military uses it now. And so I picked up a bunch of those at Army surplus stores, so for myself and my children as well.
All right. Well, getting back to the topic at hand, we have a new feature we have here on Tuesday mornings, and that's the essential oil of the week. There's, what do we got, 80 plus oils now to choose from, Leon?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And which one do you think should be the essential oil of the week this week?
I'd say breathe. Since we covered on-yard last... Yes, sir.
Okay.
We talked about on-yard last week because, everybody's going to be getting together for the next 5 weeks through the holidays. And with that, they're going to be passing, even if they're doing it like Typhoid Mary did it passively and unknowingly, you can use breathe and put that in a diffuser and spread it through the air, diffuse it through the air to protect yourselves. But the main oils in breathe, which is a respiratory blend that's exclusive to doTERRA, is laurel leaf or bay leaf, peppermint, eucalyptus, melaleuca, lemon, and ravensara. And so they have antiseptic and antifungal properties. Peppermint is antispasmodic and antiseptic and anti-inflammatory. It's very cooling and soothing, and it dilates the system. And then eucalyptus has a profound antiviral effect on the respiratory system. It's been used for EM, eucalyptus has. Melaleuca is antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral, and it has expectorant properties. And then lemon has healing, physical, and energy, and it promotes those benefits. And ravensara has a powerful antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-infectious oil. So all of those combined have the benefits are for antiviral.
Ravensara is a new one to me. I'm not familiar with Ravensara. It says here in the book it's a cross between clove and nutmeg.
Absolutely. And so, we have certain oils that are very rare, and, because of that, they only have them in limited blends, things like that. So same thing in a lot of the other blends, especially some of the more expensive ones, they'll do things like that. So, Ravensara is one that was new to me as well. And so, and people who have respiratory issues, so like the CPAP, I've had many people that have had, they've used CPAP machines for decades, and we had them put it in there, put the breathe either on their nose or put it in the machine, and they were able to diffuse it. And now they've completely gotten off those machines. So when you always talk about, if you're dependent on the medical industry at all, whether it's pharmaceuticals, oxygen, whatever the case is, electricity, do your best now to wean yourself off those, so then you're not impacted by a collapse or any kind of impact. Like a good example is the post office. It was closed for Florida for 2 or 3 weeks, and then Puerto Rico is still impacted when many people are still in the dark there. So if you are relying on a CPAP for breathing and respiratory response, and that is one thing that'd be very motivating to eliminate that impact in your life. So breathe is the oil week in that regard.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about doTERRA essential oils. And it's not the silver bullet. These are things that will help in addition to the other things we suggest, which are nutritional changes, attitude changes, using an energy cleaner. All these things combine to have the happy, healthy, full, productive life that we all want to have. But when it comes to the oils, here's how you get started. Get yourself a copy of the book. You're probably going to want 2 different volumes of the book titled Modern Essentials. Volume 5, which I have right here in front of me, and Volume 9, which just came out in September. You want those 2 books. You can get them from Amazon.com and other places. Number 2, send me an email. By return email, I will send you my doTERRA website link. And when you've got those 2 things, you're pretty much ready to go, aren't you, Leon?
Yes, sir. And, matter of fact, this month specifically, this is the first time I've ever seen it in 11 years with doTERRA. And they have any enrollment kit. There's certain enrollment kits that apply. So the Home Essentials kit, the Natural Solutions, the Every Oil kit, and the Diamond kit, they're taking 20% off the enrollment kit for the month of November. So anybody who wants to take advantage of that, I've never seen that. So it's a brand new enrollment. You get one of those 20% off, and it's never happened before. So that's definitely a great.
Well, that's a big deal. That helps a lot.
It is.
And in addition, we have our own little promotion we're doing here involving front sight firearms training, don't we?
Yes, sir. And yes, and I will get into that. But I just want to convey to people that when you're a member of doTERRA, you get 25% off of the oils for life. It's for you and a partner, a spouse, or whoever else you put on the account. Many people put their children. So right now it's always 25% off, but now they did an additional 20% off. So it's 45% off retail, which I've never seen them do that, period, in 11 years. So it is something significant, and anybody who's on the fence, I would definitely take advantage of it. And then what John and I are doing is promotion pertaining to the front side. So people who want to have the skills and confidence and manual of arms, it's a 4-day course. You can choose between handgun, rifle, or shotgun, and that's going to be a certificate from me, not from doTERRA or from Frontside directly. I'm going to just send it to you, and it's a limited time offer in which we will allow you to choose one of those 4 classes you want, and that's for the Home Essentials kit. So right now it's 20% off. You get that, or the next one up, which is the Natural Solutions kit. And then with that one, you get 2 of the certificates. So you could go to 2 different classes, or you could take another person with you and do that. And then with that one, we'll also give you a free gun rental. It could be a rifle, shotgun, or handgun. So if you're not familiar with one platform, you can try that as well. So that's a special promo that's going to be going on till the end of the doTERRA special, and it's going to be on till the 30th.
Well, that's not very long. It's just a week and a half. So this would be a great time to take advantage of that, because once it's gone, the 1st of December, which is a week from Friday, well, it's gone, it's gone. So we've got a double special going right now for the next week and a half. That's 20% off these kits and the opportunity to participate and get these training at Frontside for your choice, rifle or shotgun or pistol. It's a great opportunity the next 10 days, isn't it, Leon?
Absolutely. I've been out there. I've taken over 88 classes, and I'm going to go out there again in December and take my son as well. And so he and I are going to take the tactical, skill builder. So since he's taking the basic course, the 4-day class, once you've taken that, you can take the subsequent classes And this is a 2-day class where all they do is pretty much shoot. They're not even, they're not going into the basics of, okay, this is muzzle, this is recoil, this is how do you counter this, this is your stance, a tight picture. So they go into all that. They say, their claim is that when you complete a 4-day course, you will be able to shoot better than 95% of Americans.
Right.
Because of training. It gets that specific, malfunctions, everything. So anyone who's on the fence, now is the time to act.
Right. Well, that kind of training didn't exist not very many years ago, and to have that training now available, people may take this for granted, but it's an extraordinary thing to have access to this level of training while being a civilian, isn't it, Leon?
Absolutely. I mean, unless you were special forces in the military, you wouldn't have access to that. And even when I went through back in 1983, I didn't see them. I got to shoot the 1911, but that was very basic. There was gunny sergeants and they were screaming at us, and your learning curve was really impacted, and accuracy wasn't the biggest thing. They just want to get us through that and check off the box. Whereas here, in many cases, you'll even get private training, which they'll pull you aside if you have a special issue, and then they'll focus you to get you through that. So it's not boot camp. It's not like some of the other places that are very hardcore. They're professional. They can teach kids and women and men, and so it's the whole gamut, and they take that into account. So it's a lot of fun, and it's great for confidence.
Outstanding. Well, nothing builds real true confidence such as achieving real goals, as opposed to what we've been doing in these public schools now for a number of years. Nobody loses. Everybody gets an award. It's kind of like calling all returning service people heroes. Well, if everybody's a hero, then guess what? Nobody's a hero. Yeah, well, this is your opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to take advantage of this. Send me an email. My email address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. And get yourself 2 copies of this one book, Modern Essentials, 5th edition and 9th edition. If you need some specialized consultation, Leon, you very graciously make yourself available for private consultations with our listeners. And it's area code 303.
4905 2188.
2188. 303-4905-2188. And that's Mountain Time. That's Leon's business telephone, Mountain Time. And call him, set up that private consultation. I understand people don't want to discuss their personal health concerns in front of 10,000 people here in public broadcasting. That's expected. So yes. Get started. This is a great time. We talked about this a number of times, Leon, how now would be the time to wean yourself off these harmful, dangerous, expensive prescription medications one at a time, transferring those needs over to essential oils while we have the power grid up and everything is working normally. This would be a great time to do that, wouldn't it, Leon?
Yes, sir. And when you look at the big picture, if you are following John's advice about the rocket stove and things like that, dehydrators, that would just take the next mental leap of saying, okay, I'm also going to have backups medically. And so when you apply these, you can use them now, and you don't have to wait till things hit the fan. Many times, I'll do gun shows or prepper shows, and the guys have a tendency to want to, they buy it, check out the box, and stick it in the box, stick it in a container. But you can use these oils, and I use them every day. And so it's not like you have to wait till things go south. You can actually use them on a daily basis for things as simple as stress and sleep and staying awake. In the whole gamut, back pain. So there's so many benefits that you don't have to necessarily wait till things are right. Absolutely.
Well, I was talking to Dr. Moore the other day. She likes to shop at the thrift store, and she found some sheets at the thrift store, And anything that comes from these places is all loaded up with these smells from these things people put in their dryer when they're drying the clothes. That put this strong, cheap perfume scent and everything. So I pulled out my book here, Modern Essentials, and I looked at deodorizing, and I found exactly the oil I needed, and I told her about it, and she's going to put that, run it through the washing machine using that oil, and help achieve the goal of getting these unwanted strong odors out of the clothes. I'm looking right now to find what that oil was. Let's see, there it is. Purify.
Yes, Purify.
Purify is the first, and then there's peppermint and clary sage. And what makes this book it's a quick reference book to typically in 3 to 4 minutes you can find what you're looking for. And when you find that the oil is listed now, Purify is listed in bold type, and then peppermint and clary sage is not in bold type. So you can tell which one is going to be the best for achieving your goal, and then it gives you a couple of alternatives in addition. And that happens all throughout the book, doesn't it, Leon?
Yes, sir. It's very simple.
Okay. Here's our break. Call number is 800-313-9443. Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. It's taken 3 years before I could offer the inter-shelter domes for sale. During those 3 years, several different governments and militaries were taking all their production. The inter-shelter dome homes may be just what you've been looking for to provide affordable, energy-efficient, permanent, and attractive housing. These dome homes are prefabricated units that can be assembled in a few hours by 2 men with a ladder and simple hand tools. Check out the photos of these dome homes built in the Arctic, on tropical beaches, in suburban areas, and in forests. All the details, many photographs, and the pricing of the dome homes are listed on the left-hand side of my homepage at thelibertyman.com. I think you'll find these homes are not only attractive, but they're energy efficient, and a bonus. You can disassemble them and reassemble them as many times as you feel you need to. Pretty great, huh? Something that's very, very unique. Check them out at my website at thelibertyman.com. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 21st November, visiting with Leon Green. And yes, we're talking about doTERRA essential oils. Leon, we got a caller on hold here. We got Fred in Wisconsin. Good morning, Fred.
Yeah, I was just listening to you guys, and you mentioned something about a tactical course, a 4-day course. I knew a guy who was ex-SEAL down in Iowa, but I don't know what happened to him. I'm real curious, how do I contact whoever it is that's doing this?
Doing the classes? It's Front Sight.
Yes.
Right.
What is it called again?
Front Sight is the name of the company. Front Sight.
Okay. So they would have a website, I take it.
Oh yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Sir.
Absolutely.
Yes,
yeah.
They train more. They train more people at Front Sight than all the other ones in America combined. I've been out there.
Do you know where they're located?
Yes, sir. They're in Pahrump, Nevada. It's 45 miles southwest of Las Vegas.
Okay. Well, you've been very helpful. Thanks.
Okay. Best of luck to you, Fred. I appreciate it. Call number is 800-313-9443. Well, the people at Front Sight have attempted to recruit you to be an instructor, haven't they, Lan?
Yes, sir. For the last 9 years, they said, "Come on, take the instructor development class. And I'm like, that's nice, but at the time I didn't have time because I was married. And now I have the autonomy now with doTERRA because it's been such a blessing that, I can now focus on, combat casualty training and the other things. So I want to start working on my garden again. So yeah, before, and I also see that it's like skiing, being a ski instructor. You get less time skiing and more time instructing. And my attitude is, hey, I love to shoot, so it's kind of counterintuitive. And I do teach people here locally, when I go with friends and things like that. But for the most part, I focus on improving my skills, like precision, which is something that I really get into.
Right. Discretionary time is a big deal, and the older you get, the more of a big deal you realize it is. And I find myself now that when they changed the law in Missouri and you don't need a permit to carry concealed anymore, I now have discretionary time where one Saturday, most of 2016, 2 Saturdays a month, I was on the range instructing students and not shooting at all myself. But now I've got some discretionary time. Those 2 Saturdays are freed up, and I can actually do some shooting now that I'm not teaching all these students anymore. And it's funny how that works, isn't it, Leon?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Because I know I've over these years I get behind the curve also in my own proficiency, and I'm making plans right now to spiff up my range. I got a range right here behind the house with a 7-yard pistol range and then a 125-yard rifle and shotgun range with steel plates every 25 yards. And it's a lot of fun to get out there. All I got to do is walk out the back door. I don't have to pack up anything or go any place. Just walk out the back door, and I'm there with a nice sunshade overhead. It's close enough I can hear the telephone ring from the back porch. So could not be handier, Leon.
Absolutely.
And, of course, having the oils handy around the ranch is a good thing. My wife, Dr. Moore, is building up this nice stock of oils here that we keep in the kitchen, ready for immediate use, whether it's for minor aches and pains or for chasing off skunks underneath the cabin, or deodorizing stuff that comes from the thrift store. It all works together, doesn't it, Leon?
Yes, sir. And as a matter of fact, when you were talking about the chemicals that people put on there in the dryer sheets, that's the number one cause of contact dermatitis in America, is the chemicals that people put in. And even if you buy them at the Goodwill and the thrift stores, what happens is, if they've done it just because they think it smells good, there's an enormous amount of chemicals that they put in there. So, it may take washes to do that because of and many times, I'd also recommend she puts in maybe double the purify and just let it sit for a couple, a day or two, and then that should remove the bulk.
Well, sunshine. She's using ultraviolet sunshine also, in addition to multiple washings. The sun, letting wet fabric dry out in the direct sunshine does help get those chemicals out, because these are very strong perfumes. There's nothing to be taken lightly here, is it?
Actually, you're right. And then one other thing is, we've made our own versions of they have these cotton dry balls, and I put different oils that I like, so I may put peppermint or a melaleuca or something like that, and I put it in there, and you put it on the dry cycle, so you're getting natural oils on your fabric, and it does not discolor them, but it's better than having the chemicals that are coming with perfumes.
This is a manufactured product, cotton dryer balls?
Yes, they had them 2 years ago at one time when doTERRA was much smaller, and they sold these cotton dryer balls during one of the holidays.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. I didn't know about that. High. Hold that thought, Leon. We got a break. We'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We're continuing our energy cleaner promotion, which began August of 2016. In this promotion, you get to buy an energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and a mattress pad, 10% off retail. $200 of the purchase price of the energy cleaner goes to Republic Broadcasting. This is a great way to help get energy cleaners out to people who need them and have some financial issues to deal with. And, of course, a great way to support Republic Broadcasting. Here's what you do. Send in a postcard. My address is John Moore, P.O. Box 201, Davidsville, Missouri. We pick a postcard every 2 weeks. If your postcard is drawn, you get the chance to buy the energy cleaner, $70 off retail, and 10% off the mattress pads. Put your name and your address, your telephone number, and your email address on the postcard, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you. Are we back? We're back now. Okay, great. All right. My website is thelibertyman.com. That's thelibertyman.com. Our project, it is a joint project, the listeners and myself, and I couldn't do it without the listeners because there's just simply too much to be done. Locating images of continents with new coastlines. We've had a couple of communications this week that may prove to be fruitful. I'm not sure yet. But the list is long and growing, with the exception of the first image, which came from The Godfather movie, 1972. All the rest were found this calendar year, 2017. It's a long and growing list. If you find an image of a continent with new coastlines in a television show or a film, get the screen capture to me. And as a thank you, you get your choice of any of my 5 DVDs. It's a fun project. And I got quite a few people that are enjoying this and taking their discretionary time and doing a bit more with it than they would otherwise. So just sitting there eating popcorn. Also, my website, of course, is energy cleaners. I use mine every night. Listen up, guys. You got arthritis pain? What are you waiting for? Well, you don't have to wait. We have a Black Friday sale that begins Thursday. $25 off energy cleaners, 10% off mattress pads. That begins Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, the 23rd of this month. And, yeah, why not? Get your energy cleaner, $25 off, mattress pads, 10% off. That sale goes till midnight Monday. It would be Monday the 27th. If you're sending a check, be sure it's postmarked before the 28th. And get yourself a bit of a discount there. For you folks overseas, it'll help pay the shipping to Australia. I just priced out one the other day. I think it was right at not quite $50 to ship an energy cleaner to Australia. I ship quite a few over there, actually. Not quite as many to New Zealand. So check out the energy cleaners at my website. I do take PayPal, MasterCard, Visa. Keep in mind I have a 30-day money-back guarantee. When you make your purchase during the Black Friday sale, you pay full retail, and I refund the difference. It's an automated system, and I have to manually do the refund. If you're writing a check, just do your math and write the correct dollar amount to incorporate the discount. Toll-free line for the energy cleaner and mattress pads. Here it is, 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. We're taking your questions, calls, and comments here at Republic Broadcasting. The call-in number is 800-313-9443. Visiting with Leon Green. We're talking about one of my favorite product lines, the doTERRA line of essential oils. Well, Leon, I've mentioned before, but it's the radio, so I need to mention it occasionally. I work with a number of doctors, both medical doctors and chiropractors both. And all of them have made the decision to incorporate essential oils in their practice. All of them did independent research. These doctors don't know each other, by the way. They researched all the essential oils that are available And they all came to the same conclusion at the end of the research that doTERRA had the highest quality, purest, food grade, this is important, food grade essential oils out of all of them. And that's a true statement, isn't it, Leon?
Absolutely, sir. And even one step higher, other than food grade, is it's certified pure therapeutic grade. That means it has medicinal properties that have been confirmed. And I haven't talked about this in a long time, but if you go to PubMed.org, you can see there's over 40,000 studies on essential oils, from everything from frankincense and cancer, the lemongrass and mosquitoes, the On Guard, the proprietary blend by doTERRA, and different staph and streptococcus bacteria. And so for the people who are analytical and they want to see the science, like all those doctors and pharmacists, and I'm sorry, not pharmacists, but all the professionals that you've spoken about, they go to PubMed naturally anyway because it's part of their professional regimen. So now you can go there and look at it. So you can type that in if you don't have the book available, and it's going to be much more scientific. It's going to break down all of the, these are summaries that are available. And if you're in the medical profession, you can get the exact study and all the dosage and everything like that. But what's nice about the oils, you can't overdose. You can't become dependent, and you don't become tolerant, and you don't become addicted. And so, I had lunch with a man last week, and he talked about he got in a car accident, was on Oxycontin, and almost died. And it took him 3 months to wean himself off it. So something as simple as an accident could kill you, not from the complications from that, but because of drugs. And,
right.
And as we spoke, he talked about, how his body felt horrid, and he was very descriptive, and I was disappointed to see the magnitude of how those drugs are. When you sit down with somebody and talk about they almost died and committed suicide, it's really disgusting to hear how it keeps being promoted.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, the doTERRA can't hurt you, number one. It can only do good, number two. Very, very cost effective. It's people initially when they see these little small bottles, they say, boy, look how tiny that bottle is compared to what I paid for it. And I understand it. And I felt the same way until I understood that when the directions say 1 drop, it means 1 drop. You don't need 2. If it says 1 drop, you need 1 drop. Sometimes it's difficult to get the container to do just the 1 drop, but regardless, very cost effective. Very pure, the purest oils you can get your hands on. And human beings have been using these oils for, we don't know how many thousands of years because we've got written records going back more than 2,000 years with the oils, don't we, Leon?
Absolutely. It's even further back than that, but yes, you're right. The oils have so many benefits, and they're both physical, emotional, and even spiritual. So frankincense, myrrh, spikenard, they're addressed in the Bible over 300 times, and rose of Sharon. We can just go down the whole list of them, and people seem to forget that before the chemical drugs were around 120 plus years ago, they had to have something to keep them alive because the bugs, the bacteria, viruses were still, permanent. They haven't changed, and they're still mutating. So what is awesome about the oils are, they have so many components that the bacteria cannot mutate fast enough to be able to counter them. So when people have, when like the drugs, they typically have 1 or 2 components that they focus on when they're trying to kill a bacteria.
Right.
Whereas frankincense, 100 known components. So no virus and bacteria or fungus is able to mutate fast enough to try to get around that. So they die and they succumb to that before they can do that. So that's why the oils are so effective in long term, is that you don't have to worry about a superbug because you have the ability to counter it as a prophylactic or a preventative in advance. Or if you procrastinate, you didn't do it, you can do it after the fact, but then you have to go through all the stomach malaise and fatigue and nausea, waiting till you get sick, which my attitude is don't get sick in the first place.
Absolutely. Well, that's my attitude also, Leon. The last day I didn't feel well enough to go to work was in January of 2000. Was the last time. So, and the last time I had a pharmaceutical product was 32 years ago. This is my 33rd year of no pharmaceutical products, no prescription products of any kind. It's my lifestyle and your lifestyle used to be considered normal, but no longer, right, Leon?
You're right. Most people are.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
We've got most American adults most of the time consume one or more pharmaceutical products on a daily basis. And as people get older, they consume more and more of these to the point where by the time they're 60 years old, they're consuming on the average of 5, which means some are taking 1, some are taking 10. And it's pretty scary. And I hear commentators on the radio, on mainstream radio, talking about how healthy the American public is. And nothing could be further from the truth, could it, Leon?
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at the World Health Organization, they have a flow chart or a chart that shows all the healthiest countries in the world and goes down. And America is number 39. Even though we have the most amount of money in the world to spend on drugs and medical, we aren't the healthiest. And that's because of the lifestyle, the foods we eat, the preservatives. I mean, if you look on a can of something that you eat, Doritos, and you can't pronounce it very simply, and it doesn't take more than 5 or 6 syllables, then you probably shouldn't be consuming that. And I know I always harp on Doritos. I used to love that. But I don't eat them anymore because I know how damaging they are to my body. So, many people, I've heard this statement so many times, they're more likely to change their religion than they are to change their diet.
Right. That was one of the things that amazed when my wife, Dr. Moore, began her practice in 1985. One of the things that amazed her was the absolute resistance to changing dietary habits. One woman in particular, I recall, a patient of my wife, took pride in the fact that she, quote unquote, I never drink water. And how can you possibly ever hope to have any kind of optimal health if you don't consume water, Leon?
That's astounding. I mean,
it is astounding. This was an educated woman, not some barefoot hillbilly missing half their teeth. This is an educated suburban woman who was successful in her chosen career. I don't know her identity because my wife never shared details in terms, even name, let alone career of these patients. It was always anonymous sharing of this information to protect the patient's privacy. But I know that much, that this was a woman in a suburban environment, successful in her chosen career, and took pride in not consuming water. There's changing nutritional habits is difficult, but it's not optional, is it, Leon?
Exactly. And I mean, I know this guy, and he did not want to change his diet so much that, we got rid of his infected legs because he had diabetes, and the doctor said they were going to amputate. Well, using the oils, we were able to counter that. He got out of the hospital, went back to his house, went right back to his crappy diet, and then his sister saw her after, and he lost his leg, and she started crying because she lost both of her parents and another sister from diabetes. So if that doesn't tell him anything, it just shows you people would rather just keep eating their same comfort food that they've had for decades and just go right into the grave. And like colon cancer is the number one cancer that can be avoided, and that's all by diet. Absolutely.
Well, doTERRA oils will help. The book Modern Essentials will help. And people need to be motivated and stop procrastinating. Make these necessary changes. There's no reason at all why people can't have a healthy, fun, productive life well into their 70s and 80s. You know, I occasionally compete, Leon, in the Senior Olympics, and I've noticed that the TV coverage of the Senior Olympics is far different than what actually goes on. The TV coverage, they have people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s maybe bowling or doing some physical activity that's not too strenuous. Reality is, you get out to the track and field part of it, you've got men and women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s doing a 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, doing all the field events, high jump, and so forth, just like a high school kid. But the mainstream media won't show that because it's counterintuitive. People are supposed to believe that once they are over 50 years old, they can no longer do physically strenuous things. When there's people old enough to be the parents of the 50-year-olds out there doing these things, like myself. And it flies in the face of what we're supposed to believe, doesn't it, Leon?
Absolutely. I mean, you see that propaganda. First, you're too young to be able to do anything, and then you're too old to do anything. So I just despise how Hollywood and their marketing whizzes think that, okay, this is the only time in life that you have any virility, and after that, you're out to pasture. And so it is very disappointing to see that.
Right. I was at a birthday party over the weekend, and there was several men there, a couple close proximity to my age, one a few years younger, and they started talking about how this thing hurt and that thing hurt. So I felt kind of left out. So I said, yeah, I hurt my right shoulder a little bit the last time I parachuted by reaching back too far 16 months ago. I felt like I had to contribute to the conversation with my own little aches and pains somehow, some way.
And I bet their eyes just went.
Oh, they don't know what they got. They don't know what to say.
Exactly.
So these guys who couldn't run when they were 18, and here I am, 70 years old and still running. But no reason why not. It's a matter of determination and motivation, isn't it?
Yes, sir. And many times people, they say, you don't have fun now because you're in a preparedness, and that's can be farther from the truth. I mean, yesterday I just picked up an iFly, the indoor parachuting, the indoor jumping. And so the SEALs use that same platform here in Denver, Colorado. They fly in from San Diego, and they practice there, but they have their full gear on and nods and everything, and full rucksacks. And they do it because they have to. They're jumping out of planes at all altitudes, high-low, and all these. But I like to still have fun, and I'm going to be taking my friends and other people in my group and my son. And so you can still have fun. You can have vitality in life and be pushing 50, 60, and 70, but it all depends on you and your desire. I mean, I think a lot of people mentally check out based on what they see on TV with the marketing, and that, okay, when I get to this age, I just pretty much get in a wheelchair, get a walker, and I'm done.
Right.
And it's for me to think that people have
well,
that easily.
And that's nowhere. You create your own reality. Here's our break.
Yeah.
We'll be back after the break. Stay tuned. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. J.R. Moore here on Tuesday, the 21st of November. You want to get started with doTERRA essential oils, incorporate them into your life like Leanne and I do? Well, simple. Send me an email. By return email, I will send you my doTERRA website link. Could not be simpler. Get yourself 2 copies of the same book, 5th edition, 9th edition of Modern Essentials. That's the 2 things you need to do. Now, the kits are on sale at doTERRA until the end of this month. That's about 10 days away. And if you get yourself a kit, you get $20 off that kit, and you also can get the your choice of rifle, shotgun, or pistol training at Front Sight. Now, which kits are $20 off, Leon?
$20, 20%, which is much more.
20%, excuse me. 20%. Yes.
Yes, and it is the Home Essentials Kit, the Natural Solutions, the Every Oil Kit, and the Diamond Kit, which has everything doTERRA produces.
Well, the Diamond Kit would be the way to go. Once you got it, you've got everything. You're all set. Don't need to be getting anything else. And, yeah, that would be the way to go, in my opinion. So, yes, do that. Get your kit. Get your what you need to take the rifle, shotgun, pistol training at Front Sight there out in Nevada, not far from Las Vegas. And make yourself a Christmas gift. And a lot of people, I know, a lot of times I'll give myself a birthday gift. Sometimes I'll give myself a Christmas gift. And why not? Give yourself a gift that will be full of long-term benefits. Right, Leon?
Absolutely. And, excuse me, the oils, they don't have a shelf life. You keep them cool, dark, and dry, they'll last indefinitely, and your great-great-grandchildren can use them. And so this is a gift that can keep giving years thereafter.
Absolutely. So there you go. And once you've got the training, then you can train your friends and relatives, can't you?
Absolutely. I mean, it maybe if you've taken multiple classes, but yes, they go in depth right off the bat from safety, and so that's their first criteria. But after that, it's going to be focused on consistency equals accuracy, and so whether that is precision at 2,500 yards or even at 7 yards, and you're trying to do a headshot, and so if you are consistent, you will get much better, and you'll be able to teach others.
That's right. That's right. So we're one-stop shopping here to have a better life, the fun, full, productive life that everybody wants to have. All you need to do is make up your mind to do it. Right, Leon?
Absolutely. Take action right now. Being prepared, it's a matter of, hey, you have to decide, okay, if this is the time I actually have to bug out, like people who didn't at Katrina or down in Houston, you have to have a line in the sand with saying, at this point, I'm going to leave. And then you communicate that with your friends and family. And in most cases, if you can shelter in place, great, because you already have everything intact. But there are times when a tornado will drop, and I drove through that a year after it blew up that city. And there's a time that you have to decide, I'm going to make a move.
Leon, we are out of time. Thank you, sir. Have a great Thanksgiving. I look forward to having you back next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. God bless you.
Okay, thank you. That's it for the day. Get your medical supplies, your energy cleaner, your essential oils now while you can, your firearms and ammunition. Never, ever give up your guns. Please do have a fun, safe, productive day. And God bless America.